Story 1. Sometimes we don't talk to people because we don't want to intimidate them. I might see a girl with a cool shirt on, but I don't want to make her think I'm coming on to her or something. Rather than freak her out that a 6'6" guy thinks she looks good today, I just leave her alone. Especially if we're on an elevator or something where she can't leave if she actually is uncomfortable. Story 2. Sex isn't all we want in a relationship. I'd rather be with someone who understands me but only does it once in a while than someone with whom I have sex every day but don't connect emotionally and mentally. Some of us are into things like cooking, cleaning, makeup, fashion, and so on. It doesn't necessarily mean we're homosexual. Please don't tell us to man up. Many of us were constantly told that growing up whenever we tried to express ourselves, so saying it will often bring up bad memories. Men can be abused. Men can be raped. Men also tend to be more suicidal because society tells us we're weak if we try to discuss these things. No, we don't enjoy being raped by an attractive woman, and we often don't talk about it because people will often outright tell us we're lying about it if we do. Story 3. I don't know if other guys feel this too, but I'm always afraid of accidentally making women feel uncomfortable in my presence. For example, when I happen to walk in the same direction as a woman in front of me for a while. I'm not even interested in women in the first place. Story 4. My dad served in the Pacific during World War II. A kid from the Bronx, he had never been out of the Bronx in his entire life. Then he got sent to New Guinea. Decades later, as he lay dying in the hospital bed, he told us. As his young friends were being slaughtered by other young men, just before they died, they always cried for their mothers, never for their fathers, always for their mothers. He said, they were just kids being slaughtered by other kids. And then they died in his arms. Their last words were always, "Where is my mother? Where is my mother? Where is my mother?" Never for their fathers. That affected him for his entire life. And Dad lived a long time. He was the lucky one. Story 5. If you compliment my appearance, I will probably remember it forever. I still remember when a girl in college told me I looked nice with my beard when I first grew it out. I've had a beard ever since. Story 6. After a shower, we have no problem drying our body and face with the same towel. Most of the time we try to dry the face first, then the rest of the body. But sometimes we have to go back to the face. We just hope we use a clean part of the towel. Edit. Clean. My body is clean after a shower. Just, wiping the body, then wiping my face is just kind of, yeah. Story 7. As an older man, we don't expect you to look like a supermodel as we age together. Yes, at times I do see you as I did 30 years ago, and every wrinkle and flaw disappears. Yes, there are times I see every wrinkle and flaw and know how you got every one of them. They are beautiful too. Story 8. This comment will be buried, but those perfectly round toilets are not ideal. It's very annoying when your private parts touch the inside of the toilet bowl. The oval toilets, like in most public restrooms, are much better. Story 9. We do not care how popular or unpopular you are with other women, so it should not factor into how you value yourself when dating. Thank you for the gold, internet stranger. Story 10. When people come crying to us, our first inclination is to fix the problem. Since this is often not possible, lead with something along the lines of, "Can I vent for a minute?" Or anything that signals to us this is just a time for active listening, rather than a problem-solving session. Story 11. Men want to be wanted and desired too. I can count the number of times a woman has come out and either asked me out or told me she was attracted to me on one hand. And from my understanding, that is a high number. We don't miss hints because we are dense or stupid. We miss them because we have learned the hard way that sometimes it's just a friendly compliment or something similar. That embarrassment sticks with you. If you've ever looked at a man and thought, "Wow, he's attractive. I'd like to go out with him," go talk to him. Men love confident women, and even if he doesn't reciprocate, you will make his day or maybe even his year. Story 12. If we tie down anything in the back of a pickup truck or trailer, it's physically impossible for us not to stand back and say, "That's not going anywhere." Story 13. There is no amount of hot sex that will stop us from masturbating as soon as we're alone. It's two separate releases and you just filled up the mental archive. Story 14. We really do think your hair is good. It looked good before and after you got a haircut. It looked good curly and it looked good straight. It looked good when you woke up and when you made it. As long as it's shaped like the hair we gave girls on stick figures when we were 5 years old, we think it looks good. Story 15. Men can think a woman is attractive without being sexually attracted to her. Men can think other men are attractive without being sexually attracted to them. Some men can have respect for someone's appearance regardless of their gender. It doesn't mean they want to have a relationship with that woman or that man. It just shows a level of appreciation for the way someone looks or the way they carry themselves. Story 16. We do not get the hint. Saying, "I almost broke my neck in the driveway," is not the same as asking us to shovel it. In my mind, I am thinking, "Thanks for the heads up. I will be careful." Story 17. Oftentimes, we genuinely don't care where we go to eat because we're just hungry and want food. Any food. As long as you eat some too. I'm glad someone liked my toilet comment enough to give me gold. I promise to use this responsibly. Story 18. I'm a girl, and I've found out through the years that when guys say something, don't think too much about it. Like, what's the hidden meaning? Don't overthink it. Guys normally say things that should be taken at face value. Story 19. The mental struggle we have to go through to not scratch around our groin in a public setting. It will take 100% of my willpower to not do it. The itching can drive me insane, yet the euphoria from actually scratching it is so good. I often imagine this must be what it's like scratching a dog's ears. Story 20. The nod. When you see a guy you don't know or kind of know but don't know well enough to talk to walks by, you give a subtle nod of your head, which they return. I talked to my wife about it, and she confirms that women do not do this, but they sometimes smile instead. Some girls also give the nod. Typically, an up nod is for your friends, and a down nod is for strangers or less than friends. This could subconsciously have to do with a baring or hiding of the throat. Thanks, everyone, for the comments. Some women nod also, I have been told. No need to add another identical comment. Story 21. As a favor, I worked on a girl's car one time and got pretty dirty. Afterwards, she asked me if I wanted to come inside and take a shower. I told her no, because I hadn't brought any clean clothes to put on after the shower. She just kind of giggled. Yeah, us guys aren't exactly too bright when it comes to reading between the lines. Story 22. I had a girl tell me that my haircut looked nice. I've kept that same haircut for 4 years since then. Edit. Hey, thanks for my first gold and silver. Rad. Edit 2. Platinum. Thank you so much. You're a legend. Story 23. Not sure if this is universal, but guys usually have at least one pastime for which the process and ritual are just as satisfying, if not more so, than the outcome. One example is my morning espresso. If I'm making it, being interrupted or rushed is very disruptive, to the point where I'd rather not have started it. For others, it may be washing the car, barbecue, or shaving. But try to mind when guys are doing something where the means are an end in and of themselves. Being able to fully invest in these gratifying rituals is fulfilling to a surprising degree. Story 24. I'm not staring at you. I'm zoned out, thinking about how I'd start a brewery in medieval England while my eyes just happen to be facing your direction. Story 25. If you have a son, don't rush into his room and demand that he get up immediately to do chores or something. He definitely has morning arousal and would appreciate not needing to hide it from his mom. Give him about 5 minutes. Story 26. Guys have almost zero ability to hold a grudge if an apology is genuinely offered and accepted. Most guys have a great friend in their lives that started out with some misunderstanding but worked itself out. Women can nurse a grudge in ways most men cannot imagine. Story 27. Just because I got pee on the wall doesn't mean I'm being lazy. It's because it decided to come out in a different direction than where the hose was pointed. Just to clarify, I did clean it up, but at 6 in the morning sometimes you miss a spot. Story 28. Morning wood can be cool for wake-up sex. Not cool if you have to pee. We have to do all sorts of acrobatic maneuvers to pee. I myself like to do the Michael Jackson move. Story 29. It's not that we can't take hints. We are just afraid of looking too far into something. If someone is flirting with me, I have the dilemma of, is she actually into me, or is this just how her personality is? Story 30. We don't literally talk about breasts for hours as some of the folks over at BuzzFeed would lead you to believe. At most, it'll be like this. A group of guys are sitting in the den watching the game. One says, "You know who's pretty hot?" "Who?" Insert celebrity name or name of girl from class or work. "Oh yeah, she's pretty attractive." I think I speak for most guys when I say it's awkward to talk about sex in massive detail, and it can get pretty uncomfortable. Story 31. There is an unwritten rule of bathroom urinal etiquette that is never taught to young men but is somehow universally known. When a man enters a public restroom to use the urinal, he should occupy every other available urinal from other urinating men. This means the prime positions are in urinals 1, 3, and 5 if available. 2 and 4 should only be occupied if there are no other choices. Story 32. Only weirdos choose to urinate in the urinal next to you when there are plenty of open urinals along the wall. Also, if we have to use the toilet to urinate, we tend to aim at the side of the bowl to make less noise. Story 33. When we come home from work, we could use some downtime to do nothing. The car ride home does not count. Give us 20 to 30 minutes without unloading. This may be true for everyone, but having a moment to just be dormant on your couch or in front of the television lets our body and brain say, "Work is over, and you can put it behind you." Story 34. It's actually not always so easy to get an erection. Sometimes he is tired, or he is nervous or worried, or he is on medications that make it difficult. Antidepressants are notorious for this or any number of things. The stereotype is that men are always ready to get up and go, but this is far from true. So do not expect it, and do not be offended when his penis does not want to play, even if he does. Story 35. If we have a goofy hobby and you take interest in it, even the slightest, we love it. I am a big gamer, and my wife, who also plays games but not the same ones I do, will often watch what I am doing, ask about the game, and generally take an interest. Her saying, "Oh, are you looking forward to Anthem?" is really cool, and I appreciate her interest. It would be so easy for her to pay no attention, and her doing so makes a big difference. Story 36. Not knowing is difficult. I learned not to constantly text a girl's phone, so I don't send more than 1, maybe 2 messages. Being left without a response and thinking about what exactly went wrong to not get a reply really feels bad. Having to play it cool when I like someone to avoid scaring her off is challenging too. Story 37. We don't understand hints, so be completely clear about what you want. We can't simply assume or feel the complete meaning just because you told us 1 or 2 things about it. Story 38. That when you ask me what I'm thinking and I say it's nothing, it's just that it would take too much effort to explain why I'm deciding if Bruce Lee trapped in a bionicle would be able to fight off waves of small animals like the Pickle Rick scene. Story 39. Most guys, at least those that I know of, compliment other men in their heads but don't say it aloud so that we aren't mistaken for being gay, which there is nothing wrong with. I compliment my best friends just to see their faces light up. I think more men need to get complimented on small things. It doesn't happen that often. Edit. Hey everyone. Thank you so much for the replies. They were a pleasure to read. Story 40. We provide a valuable toilet cleaning service, which is underappreciated by removing any stains that might be clinging to the inside of the bowl. Story 41. If you want something, just ask us. We are task-oriented. Saying, "I'm cold" won't always register to us as, "I need a blanket. Can you get me one?" And if you're mad at us for something, just tell us, and we will probably stop doing that thing if it's realistic. Don't just fester in your anger for days and wonder why we don't care. We do, we just have no idea what you want us to do. For those wondering, yes, I did get this from the Owen Benjamin bit, and I highly recommend giving it a watch. Story 42. Dudes can be crazy starved for touch. Or maybe just Americans, but generally, if you want to be there for your guy, scratch his head or his back. Hold his hand, put your hand on his leg. Do that thing where you lock arms or elbows when you walk. When I'm frustrated or in my own world stressing about money or what I have to do later that day, it really brings me back and grounds me to enjoy the moment with my girl. Take care of your man. Thanks for the silver. Also, Since this is getting a bit of attention, guys, tell your significant others that you like the affection, even if it's super awkward. You all deserve it. Can be a nice moment for the two of you. And girls, don't be afraid and think your guy is creeped out by it or that they don't like it. We probably need a second to process it. Thank you for a gold and a platinum. I'm happy so many people can relate, but sad because a whole lot of dudes are in the same boat. Share the love. This earth is too small and goes too fast not to. I hope any couples reading the threads and talking can grow just a little bit closer from it. Some people have brought this up in the comments, so it's probably important to say at the top too. Some dudes aren't so dependent on touch and may actually be uncomfortable with it if done too much, depending on their love language and how they show and appreciate affection. Just make sure to talk to your man and communicate on what feels good and comfortable for both of you. Story 43. We always pull the zipper away from our crotch before zipping up. My wife, girlfriend at the time, once reached over to zip up my pants, and I had a near heart attack from the instant and real fear that she would zip the tip. We learned to pull the zipper away at a fairly young age because we don't enjoy zipper tracks on our gentleman bits.